Now it started.
Almost like, okay,
really?
good.
Yeah.
So now we're starting. Okay, good. So Daf Yomi sponsors for this week is Aaron and Evelyn Kislasi. B'schus refuah shlema for Mr. Kislasi's mother, Gracia Bas Mesoda, and for his mother-in-law, Chana Bas Bruya. And they should have a refuah shlema. We're at Tanya, which is almost like spot on in the middle of all the wide lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13 lines from the bottom. 13 lines. Probably should have started from the, whatever. Anyway, 13 lines from the bottom, right in the middle, Tanya. We learned in a Bryce. Rabbi Meir says, "Minayin l'tchias hamesim min Torah." Where is the source for tchias hamesim in the Torah? Back to the topic at hand. Shenemar, the pasuk says, "Oz yashir Moshe v'nei Yisrael zashir azos." Then Moshe and Bnei Yisrael will sing this song, La Hashem. Sharlo Namar doesn't say they sang a song. It says Ela Yashir, they will sing a song. That means Klal Yisrael and Moshe Rabbeinu are coming back and they got a song to sing. Kayotze B'Davra Ta'omer. Similarly, we have other psukim like this. Az Yibone Yehoshua Mizbeach LaHashem. Then Yehoshua will build a altar to Hashem. Bana lo nemar, the pasuk doesn't say the past tense, which would make sense that Yoshua built it. Ela yiboneh, that he will build it. Mikan v'tchias hamesim in a Torah. That means Yoshua is coming back and he's got a mizbeach to build. El me'ata az yiboneh shloma bama lichmosh shakutz moav. But then, how are you going to interpret the pasuk, which talks about Shlomo Melech, that he will build an altar to the disgusting avodah zaras that Moab had? And it's really where you're interpreting it is that Shlomo HaMelech, after he had so many wives, eventually he wound up chasing after the Avodah Zarah. So, Hachanami Diyiboneh, does this also mean that he's going to build them? No. There's a different reason why it's written in the future tense. What the pasuk is telling us is he didn't really build a mizbeach for the avodah zarah. Rather, the pasuk is considering that since he didn't put a stop to the avodah zarah that was going on, he is given the credit for being responsible for the avodah zarah. So therefore, it puts it in the future tense, not to indicate that it's not as it seems. It's not as though he actually built it, but we are considering as if he is the one who built it. Therefore, the pasuk puts it in the future tense.
Is that kind of judging though?
It is, yes. Hashem is like that. He is authorized. Right? He is authorized to do so. Amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi says, "Minayin l'tchias hamesim in the Torah." Where is the source for tchias hamesim in the Torah? Shenemar, the pasuk says, "Ashrei yoshvei veisecha od yahalucha sela." Right? Happy are those who dwell in your house, and they will continue to sing your praises. Hilucha lo nemar doesn't say they sang your praises. El yahalucha, they will continue to sing your praises. Those who dwell in your house. Mikan l'tchias hamesim in the Torah. That's the tchias hamesim in the Torah. That those who have sang praises to Hashem will continue to sing praises to Hashem. From Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi says, "Kol shira b'olam hazeh." And since we can learn from that anybody who sings songs to Hashem in this world, Zochev Omroli Olam Haba will merit to be able to continue to sing Hashem's praises in the world to come. Shenamar, as it says, Ashrei Yoshvei Veisecha Od Yahalucha Seva. Those are happy and that dwell in the house of Hashem will continue to sing the praises. Rabbi Chiya says, "I'm Rabbi Yochanan, then Rabbi Yochanan. Minayin l'tchias hamesim in the Torah." What is the source for tchias hamesim in the Torah? Shenamar, as the pasuk says, Kol tzofecha. Turn the page too early. Kol tzofecha nasu kol. The voice of those who are lookouts, meaning those who are the Nevi'im, they raise their voices, Yachtav, together, Yeraninu, they will sing. So again, it's a future tense. Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav, Kohom Nea Halacha Mipi Talmud, Kilu Gozlo, Minachlas Avosav. This is scary stuff for the teachers, right? That anybody who holds back teaching halacha from one of his students, so it's as though he has stolen the inheritance of his fathers from him. Shenemar, as the pasuk says, Torah tziva lanu Moshe, Morasha kihilas Yaakov. Moshe gave us the Torah as inheritance for the congregation of Yaakov. Morasha hi lechol Yisrael misheshis yimei brisis. It's an inheritance which is for all Jews from the 6 days of creation. And Reb David Lando, our finance director at school, sent me a marsha on this, who commented that this means that everybody is genetically disposed to being able to learn. And so therefore, If anybody says a student's not able to learn, can't do it, can't learn it, don't believe them. And that there's always a method for success in being able to educate students, because here it is, it's a morasha, it means they have to be able to get it.
Whether you have a learning disability or not.
Absolutely the case. That's correct. So he sent that to him from Marsha. Very good. Amar Rav Chana bar Bizna. Rav Chana bar Bizna says, Amar Rav Shimon Chasida kol moneh halach mipi Talmid. Anybody who holds back a halacha from a student, afilu uborin shibim me'imo mikal lenoso. Even unborn children will curse him, right? Even those that are not affected, basically they're not affected even in this world by it because they're not here yet. Nevertheless, that is considered a disgraceful thing, and even those that are unborn children will curse them. Shenamar, as it says, monea bar yakuvu la'om. Those who withhold bar, which is sustenance, which we're going to explain what that means, and yakuvu la'om will be cursed, as the word le'om is literally translated, I guess, as a nation. But here we're going to say ve'ein le'om ela uborin. The word le'om is talk about unborn children. Shenamar, as the pasuk says, u'le'om mil'om yamatz. That when Rivka was worried about the fact that she was having some battles going on when she was pregnant, so she was told that she's got two nations that are battling within her. These nations were unborn children, and so therefore the word om refers to not only nations, but also as unborn children. Vein kava ela klola, and the word kava means to curse. Shnemar pasuk says ma'akov lo kava, that this is Bilam says to Balak, what am I supposed to do? I can't curse that which is not cursed. And so there you see the word kava means to curse. Lo kava el, that which Hashem has not cursed. Vein bar, and the word bar, which literally means a sustenance, ella is ein bar ella Torah, is talking about Torah. Shinamar nashku bar pen yanef, that they will they seek sustenance lest they, I think means to waste away, that they become they blow away. Sure.
Arm yourself.
Lest Hashem get angry. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. Arm yourself. Learn Torah, so that Hashem will not get angry at you. That's what it means. Okay. Ula bar Yishmael. Ula bar Yishmael says, "Menak v'noso." We puncture if he doesn't learn. It's somebody who takes the halach away. We're going to puncture a hole through him, kikavra, like a sieve. Ksiv hach says yikavahu la'om. Ksiv hasam vayikov chor bedalto. The word kav doesn't mean to curse. It means to puncture a hole through something, as it says here yikavahu la'om, and then it says the word by an Eved Ivri that he doesn't want to leave. We put him by the door and we pierce his ear. That's correct, to pierce. He says it's maybe even worse, more than a sieve. It's like a farmer's watering thing. I guess like the holes in a watering can, like a sprinkler, like the watering can. That's what I'm imagining. Ve'im lamdu maskaron. If you do teach Torah, what is the reward? Rava says, Rav Sheshes zocha lebrachos ki Yosef. You have merited brachos like Yosef. Shenamar pasuk says, ubracha lerosh mashbir. It's a blessing for the head of the one who is mashbir, the one who distributes Torah. Ve'in mashbir le Yosef, and the mashbir is Yosef. Shenamar pasuk says, "VeYosef hu hashalit al haaretzu," that Yosef hu hamashbir. Yosef was the one who was the ruler of the world, and he was the one who was distributing all of the sustenance. And we're explaining bar as Torah, so then that means that somebody is distributing Torah l'kol am haaretz, all the nations of the world. Amar Rav Sheshes kol hamalami Torah b'olam hazeh. Anybody who teaches Torah in this world, zoche u'malamdo la'olam haba. So he merits to be able to teach it in the world to come. Still 8:30 in the world to come. We're going to continue. Shenamar, as Bezek says, Umarvehu gam yoreh, that he will, I guess, to spread out, Maraveh, and he will continue to teach. One who teaches will continue. Marveh, one who does in present tense, gam hu yarveh, will continue to do it in the future. Amar Rava says, Minayin l'tchias hamesim min haTorah. Back to tchias hamesim again. We keep circling our way back to the topic at hand. Where is the source for tchias hamesim in the Torah? Shenamar, as the pasuk says, Yechi Ruvain val yamos. Ruvain will live and he shall not die. This is in the Dvarim by the brachos at the very end Vizos HaBracha. Yechi Ruvain ba'olam hazeh. Ruvain will live in this world, v'al yamos, and he cannot die. Li'olam haba, that's in the next world. Ravina Amar Mehacha. Ravina says,
he cannot die in the world to come.
There's no death in the world to come, as we learned, right? That the Jews will be able to live forever.
Right.
That's when Mashiach comes.
This would be after Mashiach, right? Mashiach comes, would be the initial phase.
When we reach Tchias HaMesim stage.
When we read the Tchias HaMesim stage, exactly. Ravina says, Mehacha from here. V'rabim miyosh me admas offer many from those that dwell in the dirt, meaning those who died. Yakitsu, they will, I guess, awaken. These will be able to live in the world for forever, and these will be for to cast away, I think is what it is. 1 second. They will be for cursing and for embarrassment forever. Right, that's ledir on olam. They will be eternally cursed or cast away. Okay, so that's in the future. So everybody's going to get up, but then Hashem gets to judge them and decide whether they continue or they don't.
That's during the Tchias HaMesim stage.
That's the Tchias HaMesim stage.
If Hashem decides you're not to continue,
Then that's it. Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Well, sounds like you come back together, as we said in the Gemara on Thursday, right? We're going to come back together because you need to be judged with the soul and the body together.
If Hashem judges you for you not to come back and you go back into the ground.
That's correct. That's what it sounds like.
Is this the wrong avenue to ask about Gilgulim and how all of this...
Gilgulim is a different story because that's not even Olam Haba, right? That's even in Olam Hazeh. We still have nefashos that come back and have unfinished purposes. So, yeah.
Like you said.
Oh, so these are the questions, right? If I've been a Gilgul like 6 times, right? Let's say I've been back a while. So then which me comes back?
Rabbi?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like you see in horror movies, or covers opening clothing on its own.
Okay, so Ravashi, Amar Ravashi says Mehachad comes from here. V'ata lech lekates v'tamod legoralecha lekates hayamin. He says it's from this pasuk that you will leave to your eternal world, which is the end of all flesh. And there you will rest, and then you will return and stand up after that for Tchias HaMesim, right? You're going to go lekates, you're going to lie down, and then you will get up for the end of days. Okay. Amar Rabbi Elazar. Rabbi Elazar says, Kol parnei sheman higas hatzibor benachas, any leader of the community who leads gently and kindly the people, zocha manhigam olam haba, he's going to be meritorious, and he will be able to lead people in the world to come. Shemar Pasuk says, Ki merachamim yanhigem v'almabui mayim yinahalem. Because with mercy he guides them, and then almabui mayim on the river's edge, he's going to continue to lead them, and that's the river's edge is a stream's edge that he will be able to guide them with gentleness along a path in the world to come. V'amar Rabbi Elazar. Rabbi Elazar says, "Gedola deya shenitna bein shtei osios." The deya, the concept of deya, awareness, or being, I guess, not thoughtfulness, is a really great concept because it is written between 2 names of Hashem. Shenemar, as the pasuk says, "Ki kel deos Hashem." Hashem is a God of deos, and it has the word kel and then Hashem with the word deos in the middle of it. So you see that deya is a really great thing. V'amar Rabbi Elazar, Godol mi kodesh shenitan bein shtei osios. So he says it's greater than kodesh, the concept of the sanctuary of the makom of kodesh, which is also written between 2 letters, 2 names of Hashem. So he says, Godol mikdash. Sorry, the Beis Hamikdash, the area of the Mikdash is also great. It's also written between 2 names of Hashem. Shinamar pasuk says, Pulas Hashem Mikdash Hashem Konenu Yadecha. You see a pasuk which has the word kodesh Mikdash written between 2 names of Hashem. Maskif lo Rav Ada. So Rav Ada asked the following question. Rav Ada Karchino, that Rav Ada Karchino, that was his nickname, because there were a lot of Rav Ada. Some say it's Rav Acha, is how it's supposed to be read, but it's Rav Ada Karchino. They had people who had similar names, so they would be known as nicknames. Karchino means the bald one. So that's the nickname.
It's not the nickname you want to pick up.
I was going to say, if you've got a nickname, right, that's like...
Probably into Shidduchim career.
El Me'ata. If that's true, if what you're saying is every time you have a word written between 2 names of Hashem, that concept is a really lofty and great concept. So then Gedola Nikama, so then vengefulness and jealousy is a great thing, shenitna bein shtei osios, because it's also between two names of Hashem in a pasuk. The pasuk says, "Kel nekamos Hashem, kel nekamos Hofia." Hashem is a God of vengeance. He's a God. He has revealed Himself in vengeance. So Amar Le Lemilsei, he says Hachinami. So he says Amar Le Lemilsei. He says, yeah, for the right reasons, vengeance is a really good thing, right? In other words, that's okay to be vengeful when it's appropriate.
But where did the Torah say we're not to take revenge?
So the pasuk, right? We do say that a person's not allowed, lo sikom v'lo titor, a person's not allowed to take revenge, and that's where somebody does something to you, and then you say, well, because you did that to me, I'm going to do that back to you. That's a prohibition. But this apparently is a vengefulness, meaning almost like a zealousness or the acting on behalf of Hashem, not for your own sake, right? This is for Hashem's sake, right? So Hachinami will explain it. Kede'ula, this also explains, like Ula says, Damar Ula says, Shtei Hofios halalu. Really, the pasuk says the word Hofia one time that he appears, but it's the word Nekama, the vengefulness, is appearing twice, right? Because the word vengefulness is in the pasuk. Kel Nekamos Hashem, Kel Nekamos Hofia. So the vengefulness that he reveals, why is it written twice in the pasuk? Achas lemidas tova v'achas lemidas poranos. This is Hashem can be vengeful sometimes for giving rewards to people, and sometimes for giving punishments. Meaning that when Hashem, we say vengefulness, it's a kaviyachol, right? It's a anthropomorphism. Hashem's not vengeful, but what it means is He repays, right?
It's like
retribution.
Action reaction.
Correct. As a result of us doing good, Hashem is zealous and will surely repay those good things, and Hashem is zealous and surely will repay those averos. That He will punish those averos, and that's what it means. Nekamas, kill nekamas, and therefore the concept of nekama is not a bad thing if you look at it in that context. And therefore, yes, the fact that it's written between the names of Hashem is in fact a good thing. Rabbi Elazar says, "Kol adam sheyeshbo deya." Now back to the deya. Right? Anybody who's got deya ki'ilu nivne beis hamikdash biyamav, that's as though he has rebuilt the beis hamikdash in his time. Shezen nitan bein shtei osios, vezen nitan bein shtei osios. Because we said deya is written between the two names of Hashem, so is mikdash written between the two names of Hashem. So these two concepts are tied together. So if you've got deya, then you've got mikdash. So that's a good thing.
It's written in between,
a little thoughtfulness.
It says it's written between the two names of Hashem. Which names are those?
We said the pasuk, right? The pasuk we had quoted was Kikel Deos Hashem. That was in pasuk. That was a pasuk in Shmuel Aleph. Tabru tedabru gavoa gavoa yetze asak mipichem kikel Deos Hashem.
Wait, we're translating data as thoughtfulness.
I'm trying, yeah. What's the understanding is a better word. Yes, I was going to say I have to be careful with deya, being all these concepts when I'm around in the Breslauer circles and things. But yes, understanding. Yes. Okay, good. Okay, good. Rabbi Elazar says, "Kol adam sheyesh bo deya." Anybody who has this deya with sof mis asher will get rich. So that's a good thing. Shenamar ubedas chadorim yimlu kol hon yakar v'noim. Right? If you've got with das, right, with this understanding that you have, so then he's going to be able to fill his rooms with all kinds of valuables.
We're talking about Dei Hashem, like the understanding of God, or what? Like what is the?
Das says deya.
It just says deya. There's
right?
No
doesn't specify. I'm not going to limit, because I'm sure there are numerous and a myriad of explanations on it. So I don't want to limit to say what it's like. Just says deya. That's what I'm saying. This is it. V'amar Rabbi Elazar, kol adam she'ein bo deya. Anybody who doesn't have deya, also l'rachim ulav. You can't be merciful on what happens to him. You can't be like, oh, poor guy. Guy has no. I'm going to. Common sense. I don't know. That's what I was thinking about. The guy is like, without this, then you can't be merciful. Shnemar's pasuk says, "Ki lo am binos hu alkein lo yirachamenu osehu v'yotzro lo yechonenu." Right? If you're not a nation of understanding, so if this is a nation that's not of understanding, therefore Hashem has no mercy, and Hashem finds no favor. The nation finds no favor. Right? It's a person, I guess, is responsible for their own actions. You do act without common sense. What are you going to do? Have mercy on you because you couldn't take care of yourself? I don't know. So Rabbi Elazar is like the very Republican, lift you up by your own bootstraps kind of a thing. V'amar Rabbi Elazar is calling saying, Pito lemisha ein bo deya. Anybody who gives his bread to somebody who has no deya, So Yisurin boin olav. He's going to get punished, right? That's not the person you give the tzedakah to.
Wow.
Shenamar, as the pasuk says, Lach mecha yasimu mazor tachtecha, ein tavuna bo ve'ein mazor. This is, I think this is talking about punishment of Edom. If I'm not mistaken, Yud Zayin, all the psukim get all crunched together down here. In Ovadia, so this is...
There's no rational day.
Yeah, no, there's a lot. Not Rashi is... says I have got to look over here for the modern Mesivta explanation, he says. Right, this is by Malchus Edom. Yeah, punishment for Malchus Edom, right? That he's going to be that if you play you're to place your bread in front of him. Mazur tachtecha. Mazur is Yisurim, as we're going to say. It's going to be his punishments, right? So it's going to put bread before him. If anybody who gives the bread to that person, he's going to be punished. Correct. Right?
Is this talking about like being careful with where you're getting stuck?
It sounds like, and I guess also maybe you're enabling. Yeah, be careful where you're giving tzedakah. That's how I'm reading it.
Right,
But
it's not saying
making it sound that way.
It's not talking about a shoita, because it would have said
Not a shota. Yeah, not a shota.
Right.
Somebody who
so
ain't
that's why I'm
dea.
like, right. Well, isn't a shota somebody who
Has no dea?
You would assume is the person who doesn't have dea, right? That's why I'm like, it's
It must be
not
like
saying
shota
that
is an
it wasn't-
active thing. You can be somebody who's not a shota but has no dea too.
Right. I guess somebody doesn't think things. I don't know.
It's a good question. So you can think about this. Use your dea. Understand it, right? Ve'ein mazur el yisurin. The word mazur, lachmecha yasima mazur. Mazur is punishment. Shemar pasuk says, "Vayar Ephraim al chelyo v'Yehuda es mizoro." That Ephraim saw, right? That they're the ones they get exiled, so they see their punishment, and he uses the word mazur for punishment yisurin. Anybody who does not have dea, losof gola is going to be exiled. Shnemar lechein gola ami mibli das. Right, my nation will be exiled because they are without dea. Anybody whose house you can't hear Torah learning from it at night, eish ochalto, fire will consume it. I'm not sure it or him, right? The person who's not learning Torah. But the concept is that we work during the day. What are you going to do, right? Can't maintain, but you got to figure out. You have to learn something at night. You got to figure out when you're going to learn.
That's why we come here for 8:30.
That's why we do it. Exactly. That's the whole idea, right? So we will market it as fire insurance, and I believe that we should be able to write this Gemara and send it to our insurance companies and be able to see if we can get a discount. But this is. Right. This is right. Somebody's good that now he says here Chav Hey. This comes from. I don't know why he says it. He explains that Eish Ochal To. I thought that it meant that the fire would consume the house, and he wants to say it's the fire will consume the owner of the house. Right? It doesn't make sense. The house will burn down, but fire will consume. Shenamar the pasuk says Kol Choshech Tamun Litzfunav Tochluhu Eish. Right. That all darkness and night, which is hidden. From the learning of Torah, so we're going to insert that into parentheses here, right? It's going to be from the learning of Torah will be someplace that the fire will consume it. Tochlenu eish lo nupach. It will be a fire, which he says is a fire of Gehenna that you don't, because it's a fire that you do not need to blow it in order to make it larger. So this is the fire of Gehenna will consume a person who doesn't find an opportunity to learn when they come home from work.
Yeah. It sounds like you have to learn at home, right? Kol beish ein divrei Torah.
Yeah. Now the question is, we're going to see other Gemaras in other places say that it's better to learn in a base medrash than to learn in your house.
Right.
Right. So this seems like that's why I think that's why I think he's trying to adjust this and change it to the Baal Habayis. Right. You need to have the person who owns the house, right? A homeowner needs to find a time to learn. I don't know if he has to do it inside his house specifically, but everybody's got to learn, right? Okay. Okay, then it says, Yera Sarid Ba'ohalo, because why? Because a Sarid, we're going to see what a Sarid is, but he downplays or denigrates a Sarid in his house. What is a Sarid? Ein Sriach el Talmid Chacham. A Sarid is a Talmid Chacham. I mean, the Sarid is a leftover, but also Sarid, in this case, is going to refer to the Talmidei Chacham. Shenamar, as the pasuk says, Uvesridim asher Hashem korei ve'omar I'm sorry. Asher Hashem Korei. The pasuk says that in Yoel that Hashem is going to call to his remnants, the ones who learn Torah. Okay. The Amar Rabbi Elazar. Anybody who doesn't make sure that Talmidei Chacham benefits from his possessions, Eino Roa Siman Bracha Liolam is not going to see a bracha ever. Right? He's got to be able to make sure that Talmidei Chacham benefit. He gives tzedakah to the Talmidei Chacham.
Harsh.
Got to be sponsor Daf Yomi. Shenamar, the pasuk says, Ein Sarid Leochlo. Right? There's going to be no. Alkein lo yachil tuvo. There's going to be ein sarid. There's going to be no. This again, the word sarid we're going to say is the Talmidei Chachamim to those that consume it, and therefore he will not be able to see anything, any benefit from his good, any good from his possessions there. Ve'ein sarid el Talmidei Chachamim. The word sarid refers to Talmidei Chacham shenamar ubesridim asher Hashem korei. Again, means sridim are the Talmidei Chachamim. V'amar Rabbi Elazar. Rabbi Elazar says, Kol she'enu mishayer pas al shulchano. Anybody who does not leave over after your meal a little bit of bread, right? This is the custom. Right, when you finish eating, make sure don't eat the last piece, right? So
you can bench.
Well, you can bench without any bread on the table if you've already eaten, but the minhag is that we bench with a piece of bread with some of the bread on the table still. Don't take the last piece. And that's just not just the polite thing to do, right? But it's also because of this.
Do you do in your own home from your children? Is that still rude, or is that like
what? Taking the last piece?
piece?
This last piece you're going to see is because of this. Anybody who doesn't leave a piece over, Eino Rosim Bracha Liolam, is not going to see a bracha. The rationale is because somebody can knock on your door and say, "I'm hungry," and you'll have no food left. Right? Leave one piece over. If some poor person comes knocking the door and needs something, you should be able to say, "Here, I got one piece left." Shenamar pasuk says, "Ein sarid leochlo, okay lo yachil tuvo." Right? If he doesn't leave over from his food, in this case, now we're going to explain it. So then there will not be any blessing from his any good that comes from his things. V'amar Rabbi Elazar kol mashayir petitim al shulchano ki lo oved avodah zara. 1 second. What about what Rabbi Elazar says? Anybody who leaves over bread on his table is as though he's worshiping avodah zara, meaning he's wasteful. Right, so if he's wasteful for food, so it's like he's worshiping avodah zara. Shenamar pasuk says, "Ha'urchim legad shulchan v'hamamaleim limni mimasach." He sets aside for God, which was a type of avodah zara we said, on his table, and he fills up mini, which is a type of spiced wine for the God mini. So lo kasha, those are not contradictions. Had ika shlema bahadei, had leka shlema bahadei. Depends if you have a full loaf. Or you don't have a full loaf. If you're leaving over a full loaf, then it sounds like you're avodah zara, right? For wasteful, I'm leaving this piece. But if I sliced up my end, I leave a little bit over so that somebody can come in, so then that's good. V'amar Rabbi Elazar, kol machlif b'diburo ki'ilo oved avodah zara. Somebody who changes his speech. Now I saw that it was translated, I think, machlif b'diburo is somebody who disguises his voice. I guess, I don't know whether that is like when you call up the bank or...
Like a hacker when you...
yeah, exactly. So, but others interpret it as meaning somebody who tricks people with his speech. He lies, right? So, then he's considered as though he's somebody who worshipped avodah zara, because Ksiv Hachad says here, Vayisi be'inav kimitateya, that I was in his eyes like one who fools. Ksiv Hasim says, Hevel hema mase tatuim. The idols are worthless and they are deceived. The word tatuim is both an indicator of somebody who lies, somebody who worships avodah zara, and so therefore one who lies is like somebody who worships avodah zara. V'amar Rabbi Elazar, kol mistakel be'erva, anybody who gazes at inappropriate things, inappropriate meaning undressed people, kashto nin eris, his bow becomes without strength. Shenamar erya ta'or kashtecha. Pasuk says that one who sees erva will lose the strength of his bow, meaning he will be unable to go forward with strength. V'amar Rabbi Elazar li'olam have a kabel v'kayim. A person should always be of the receptive and upstanding. Amar Rabbi Zera says, Af ananami tanina. We also have learned this. Base Afel ein poschen lo chalonos liros nag'o shmamino. He says that if a person is a dark house, we don't open windows in a dark house in order to be able to let light in to be able to see its blemishes. Right? It's almost like if you have ever been, there's no such person as without blemish is the bottom line. Right. So don't start, hey, I'm amazing, I'm perfect, and by opening the windows on your life, so then you'll be able to find all your blemishes all that much easier, right?
Speaking of,
Walk humbly and be respectful and accept criticism and things, and that's the good way to
speaking
be.
of dark house, a while back we had an ice storm and knocked out the power for days.
Yes, better for Negoyim. Okay. Amar Rabbi Tavi, Amar Rabbi Yoshia. Rabbi Tavi says in Rabbi Yoshia, "My dechsev," what does it mean? The pasuk says, "Sheol ve'otzer rechem eretz lo savamayim." So there are four things that that continuously want more and more. They are never satisfied, right? V'lo savamayim. These are the things: Sheol, which is Gehenna, the otzer rechem, the opening of the womb. And the land is never satisfied with water, and also ve'esh lo amrahon, and fire also. They're never satisfied. So let's explain these. So we're going to learn a kavachomer. Ma rechem shemachnisin bo bechashai motzi meno bekoli kolos. So he says, look, if in the womb, right, the conception process is a quiet process, right? Not a lot of hoopla around it in the world. So therefore, but nevertheless, when the baby's born, it's a big simcha. I have lots of parties and things. So too, Sheol, when we go to, when somebody goes to dies, so machzis bo kolos, which we have a big funeral and people talk about, when people come back to life, there's going to be big celebration and big hoopla about it. That is another good answer as to those who say that there's no tchias hamesim. Why else would we be comparing these two items together as those which are unsatisfied? Meaning, there's lots of people dying, lots of people being born, but there's a comparison between the two, and that's why these are written together. Tana de Be'elio. We learned in a brisa from Be'elio, tzadikim she'asid HaKadosh Baruch Hu la'achyosan einan chozrin la'afran. This was our issued discussion. The tzadikim, when they come back to life, they're not going to die again. They're going to live forever. Shneimar pasuk says, "V'haya hanishar b'tzion v'hanoser b'Yerushalayim kadosh." So those who remain in Zion and those who are remnants of Yerushalayim are holy. Yomar lo kol hakasav l'chaim b'Yerushalayim. So we'll say to him, all that is written for life into Yerushalayim. Ma kadosh liolam, just like holiness is a status which is designated forever. So liolam kayim, afheim liolam kaimin. Also, these people who are brought back in Yerushalayim are also going to be able to live forever.
But the Mishnah didn't say about somebody who didn't believe in Tchias Hamesim. Is that they said there's no pasuk.
Correct.
Refers to Tchias Hamesim.
Yes. Well, we've had like 9 or 10, or I lost count.
Right. They gave us
right.
time.
So you've got lots. You're good shape. We're good shape, right? Right. But now this is going a step further. Not only you believe that they're going to come back to life, but now we also should know that the Kadosh, meaning Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, goes on forever. So too, the Tchias Hamesim, when somebody comes back to life, they're also going to be able to live forever. Okay, so now Vim Tomar Oson Shanim. So what happens is we had this distinction, right? We have the people coming back we have people who are the way this learns. He says that there's actually 2 Tchias Hamesim according to this Gemara. Right, and I'm not sure whether this is a dispute, whether this is the Tanad Be'elio who holds this way, or whether this was universal and was never understood before. But I'll read you this from the Mesifta. Shnei pamim asid lichios hamesim. There are actually 2 times that Tchias Hamesim is going to occur. Tchia rishona tchia letzadikim bilvad b'mos Mashiach. First, according to, again, this is against the opinion who said that Mashiach comes, there's nothing special. This opinion says no. Mashiach comes, there is a Tchias Hamesim at Mashiach time as well. At that point, we're going to have stronger bodies. People are going to come back. People are going to live for a long time. So that's where you see you're advancing, right? You're understanding this exactly. And people will come back, and their lives they'll be stronger, but they will live like we normally live: eat, drink, and have children. Then there's going to be another Tchias Hamesim, right? Those people die, and then the world is fallow for 1,000 years. From the year 6,000, right? That's the end, until the world lies with nothing for 1,000 years. Then there's Tchias Hamesim la'asid lavo.
So it's basically it's like Bereshit all over again.
That's correct. She'az yakumu kulam l'tchia v'gam hatzadik yizdachachu tachlis hazikuch ad she'aguf ruchani k'mo nefesh. And at that point, our existence is way different. We're not going to return to a physical existence in the same way that we were. Now, this existence is almost like the body is now subjugated to the spiritual, and the universe acts in a different way. Okay, so now
This is Machlokes Ramban, right? Isn't it? Ramban and
well, the question is,
right.
I'm not sure about the Machlokes. I know that seems to be a dispute in the Gemara. Maybe they are disputing as to how we hold and things, right? The Rambam and the Ramban do argue about whether Tchias HaMesim is this world or whether you die and go back to Olam Haba, which is a spiritual world, not in this world.
Right.
Right? So this is saying that tzaddikim in the Osid, tzaddikim she'osid, they're going to come back, so they're going to live forever at that final stage. So the Gemara wants to know, what about the years in between? After the people have come back and then they died again, and now there's an in-betweening period. So what happens? Where does everybody go during that time? So the pasuk says, how do you know that there's such a time? Shnei, the pasuk says, "V'niskav Hashem levado bayom ha'hu." Hashem is going to be left by himself at that time. There's going to be a time when the world is empty. There's no people anymore. Hashem refreshes. So tzaddikim mahinosin. So what did the tzaddikim do then? Right? They were around. They came back. They died again now. So where do they go? So HaKadosh Baruch Hu also have kinofim kinesharim. Hashem is going to give them wings like eagles. V'shatin al pnei hamayim, and they're going to float over the water the whole time. Right? They float. Now, Shneimar, the pasuk says, Al kein lo nira behamir eretz bamot harim belev yomim.
Almost sounds like it's resetting the world.
That's exactly what it sounds like, right?
First of all, the Tchias HaMesim, the tzaddikim one is only tzaddikim, or is it everybody? Because it's called.
So I'm not sure which Tchias HaMesim at which point are they being judged? Did they get judged at the first Tchias HaMesim and then now only the tzaddikim come back in the second one? That's what it sounds like, right? They judge the first Tchias HaMesim and then the second Tchias HaMesim is only for the tzaddikim.
And then, like even the beginning of Bereshis, how like that's literally how Bereshis starts with what Kadosh Baruch Hu hovering over, right? Tohu v'vohu.
So it's now the tzaddikim are hovering, right, in a parallel.
Right. But then he consults to be able to create the world.
So now Hashem is destroying he's flattening the mountains. He's resetting the world. Basically, the world gets destroyed. Resets. V'shema tomer yesh lem tzar. Now the question is, floating for a long time, that's got to be tiring, right?
Yeah.
So he says maybe they'll get tired. Tamalomar v'kovei Hashem lachlifu koach, that those who hope to God, they will have eternal strength. Yalu aver kinesharim yarutzu v'lo yigo. They're going to float like eagles, and they're not going to be they're going to be able to run and never tire. Right? Yelchu v'lo yiyafu. They will go. More songs?
Daddy.
Okay, Daddy's got a song.
I had another song. I remember.
All right, good. V'neilif mi mesim. This has got to be the parak that has the most songs, right? So far.
Yeah, you already.
Okay, so now we just said that they're never going to die. So how do you know they're never going to die? V'neilif mi mesim shechi Yechezkel. Maybe we should learn that Tchias HaMesim works the same way as the bones that Yechezkel brought back. And I promised that we were going to get back to those bones that Yechezkel brought, the dry bones. Now let's talk about those for a while. So he brought them back to life, and then they died again. Right? They didn't last. So maybe that's how Tchias HaMesim works also. So Savar La, Kiman Damar, Be'emes Moshel Haya. So he holds like the one who says that in truth it was a parable. So Ditanya, we learn in a Brisa. Rabbi Eliezer says, meaning that it never really happened. Right? That the bones weren't brought back to life and died, because that's not how Tchias HaMesim works. Tchias HaMesim is eternal. So therefore, this must be the idea that Tchias HaMesim happened and then they died again is a parable. So the Tanya we're in a Brisa. Rabbi Eliezer Omer says, Mesim shehichya Yechezkel. So the dead people that Yechezkel brought back to life, Amdu al Ragleim, they got up, V'amru Shira, they said Shira, V'mesu, and then they died again. Umashira Amru, what was the song that they sang? Hashem memis betzedek u'mechaya barakim. Hashem kills people when people die. That is with righteousness, and He brings them back to life with mercy. Rabbi Shomer says, Shira zu Amru. They sang this. Hashem memis mechaya. Hashem causes death. He brings back to life. Morid Sheol v'yal. He brings people down to Sheol, and He brings them back. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Emes Mashal Haya. Rabbi Yehuda says, truth parable it was. So Amar Lo, Rabbi Nechemiah says, what are you talking about? Im emes lama mashal. Im mashal lama emes. Which is it? Is it true or is it a parable? What does that mean? True, parable. Is it true or is it a parable? Ella be'emes mashal. What he means is, in truth, it was a parable. So that's what he means by it. Okay? So therefore, it never really happened. Rabbi Eliezer ben Osho, according to his opinion. Rabbi Eliezer ben Osho, Rabbi Yossi Aglili. But Rabbi Eliezer, the son of Rabbi Yossi Aglili, said, Omer mesim shehichya Yechezkel, alu l'Eretz Yisrael, the people that died, that Yechezkel brought back to life, they went to Eretz Yisrael. They made aliyah. V'nosu noshim, they got married. V'holid banim, and they had kids. Ubenos amad, banim ubenos amad, they raised kids. So, it's not only a true story, but they lived happily ever after.
The end.
Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira, Amar Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira al Raglav, Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira got up, Amar, Ani mibnei bneihem. I am from the descendants of those people. So I know it's true. V'halalu tefillin sheniach li abi abba mehem. And this is the tefillin that I inherited from them, from my great-grandfather. So there you go. Uman ninhu mesim shehechya Yechezkel. So who were these people? Right? What, these people, Yechezkel brings them back to life. We have a dispute about what happened to them at the end. Let's go back to the backstory. Who wwere they in the first place? Some Rav says, Elu b'nei Ephraim shemanu l'kates v'to. These are the people from Ephraim, and they were counting when they were supposed to be exiled, when they were supposed to get out of Mitzrayim. And they counted, right? They were told it was going to be 400 and something years, 430 years. And they counted, and they erred in their counting, and they left Mitzrayim too early, and they were killed. Shinam Pasuk says, B'nei Ephraim shusalach barad banu v'tachas beno. Sorry, B'nei Ephraim shusalach ubarad beno. V'tachas beno, v'elad beno, v'tachas beno, v'zavad beno, v'shuselch beno, v'azar, v'elad. This is the list. His son, this one son, and all the sons and all the sons. And then v'hargum anshe gas hanoladim ba'aretz, and Gas, the people of Gas, killed them off after they left. Uksiv, and the pasuk says, Vayisabel Ephraim avihem yomim rabim, that Ephraim mourned for his children for a long time. Vayavo achiv l'rachamo, and this is while Ephraim was still alive, right? So then his brothers came to comfort him, ushmulam, and that's what happened. So that's the story, that Ephraim's children tried to leave Mitzrayim, and they got killed, and that's who these people were. Ushmulam, Shmuel says, Elu b'nei Adam shekafru b'tchias hamesim. These were people who said there's no tchias hamesim. So therefore, Hashem brought them back to life in order to prove them, you're wrong. Shenamar, Pasuk says, Vayomer Elai, ben Adam ha'atzmos ha'ela, kol beis Yisrael hema, hine omrim yaveshu atzmosenu, va'avda tikvasenu, nigzarnu lanu. As they said, these are the people whose bones these are. These were the Jewish people who said, our bones are dry and our hope is lost. They had no belief in Tchias HaMesim.
Didn't we just say before that the people who didn't believe
wouldn't come back? So
it
makes sense that then they would get up, say Shira, and then die again. According if that was who it was, right?
See,
just showing you. Okay, you're wrong. Okay, bye. Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah says, Elu b'nei Adam she'ein bahem lachluchis shel mitzvah. These were people who had no drop of moisture of mitzvah. These were Rishaim. Just period. There were people that were out there, Rishaim, Shenamar, and they were brought back to prove a point, right? They were just brought back to prove a point, and then they died again. Shem Pasuk says, Hatzmos hayaveshos shamu devar Hashem. These dry bones, they heard the word of Hashem. Rabbi Yitzchak Nafcha, and that's what dry means. They were dry without mitzvahs. Rabbi Yitzchak Nafcha Amar El b'nei Adam shechifu es hahechel kulo shkatzim v'ramasim. These were people, and it sounds like they vandalized the Beis Hamikdash, and they put all over the Beis Hamikdash tamei things, shkatzim v'ramasim, creepy crawly things. They defaced the Beis Hamikdash, and they were punished for it. And then this is who they were. Shenamar, how do we know that? Because the pasuk says that when Yechezkel came, I came and I saw v'hinei kol tavnis remes behema sheket v'chol gilulei beis Yisrael mechukal hakir saviv. That when that this is, which Navi saw this. This is Yechezkel himself. He saw that he came into the Beis Hamikdash, saw in his vision that the Beis Hamikdash was defaced in all this kind of a way. Uksiv hasam. Then when it comes to the bones, it says that virani aleim saviv saviv. I went around them, and it says the word saviv there also. So therefore, from the Gzera Shava, we see the same people who did the defacement were the ones Yechezkel eventually brought back. And again,
these are not the descendants of
Ephraim. Now,
That's
so
what
it's an argument, right? And it makes some sense then potentially why some would say that they didn't live on afterwards, right? They weren't like given free reign afterwards. If they were Bnei Ephraim, maybe that makes good sense as to why they might. be able to live happy lives and go happily ever after. I guess if you were
But if
these
they were
evil
restrained.
people, then maybe that's why they would be brought back in order to say, "You're right, Hashem, we made a mistake," and then that's the end, right? Maybe some sort of kapara in that. Rabbi Yochanan says, "Elu mesim shebikas dura." These are the people who died in the valley of Dura. What happened? Rabbi Yochanan minar Eshel ad Ravas bikas Dura. Right, this place from the river of Eshel until until this place called Rabas was the valley of Dura. The valley of Dura had an important event that occurred there, which we're going to talk about now. When Nebuchadnezzar exiled the Jewish people, there were some Jewish boys who were so beautiful that they would pale, the sun would pale in comparison to their good looks. And the Babylonian women would see them, and they would become zavos as a result of being able to, as seeing these boys.
Again, when he says the sun will pale, does that mean make him tanned or?
Now I'm saying the sun would pale, meaning that in comparison, the beauty of these people was way more than the sun. The sun was way less than them. So Amru leBaalein, so they told their husbands about it. Never a good thing. Ubaleihan lemelech, so the husbands complained to the king. Tziva hamelech v'hargum, so the king said, they got to kill these guys. So they killed them. Vadayin hein shofos zavos. So still, the dead bodies were beautiful. So the women were still attracted to them. So Tziva hamelech v'ramsum. So the king commanded, and they were trampled. And that's what happened. That's who these dry bones were in this valley that were the ones that Nebuchadnezzar had killed.
So when the bone became dry, it means
I guess because they were there for a long time.
It became sand much quicker.
So they dried up over time. Tana Rabbanan, Rabbis, B'shasha hipil Nebuchadnezzar harasha es Hananya, Mishael, v'Azariah lekivshon eish. So at the time that Nebuchadnezzar threw Hananya, Mishael, and Azariah into the fiery furnace, this is about during this period between the first base of Mikdash and the second base of Mikdash, that Hananya, Mishael, and Azariah, we'll learn all about them right now, that they were thrown into the fiery furnace. Amar lo HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yechezkel. Hashem said to Yechezkel, Lech v'hichya mesim bebikas Dura. Go and bring these bones that are there in Dura back to life, right? Because the location where this occurred, where the fiery furnace occurred, was also the valley of Dura. This is where Nebuchadnezzar set up some kind of palace or something, and in this valley of Dura, he had this trial for Hananya, Mishael, and Azariah.
How do you put dry bones back to life? How does that work?
Yechezkel did with the command of Hashem, right? It was a nace. Right, so that's what he did. So, Kevan Shehichya Osan. So this was when Yechezkel brought these bones back to life. Bo'otzamos v'tafku lo le'osarash al panav. The bones came back to life and they slapped Nebuchadnezzar in the face. Right? Amar ma tivan shel elu. What's going on? He said, Nebuchadnezzar, what's going on with these? So Amru lo chavrein shel elu. So he says they are friends of these guys, Hananya, Mishael, and Azariah. That's who these guys are. So they're upset at the whole situation. So they slapped Nebuchadnezzar. I guess he is the one who killed them in the first place. So Mechai Mason Bebikas Dura. The Chavrehan Shel Elu. Is that Mechai Mason? Is that part of the next line? 1 second. These are the ones, these are the friends of Hananya, Mishael, Azariah. Mechai Mesim Bebikas Dura, and Nebuchadnezzar knew that Hashem brought these people back to life. So Pasach v'Yomer, so Nebuchadnezzar said, when he figured out what the deal was, and he said, Asohi kama ravervin v'samhohi kama takifin ma'chusei ma'chus alam v'shiltine am dar v'dar. He said that your wonders, your miracles are great, and your wonders are strong, and your kingdom, Hashem, your kingdom is going to last forever and ever. So he sang this praise to Hashem after witnessing Hananya, Mishael, and Azariah not being burned. The people that he killed come back to life. So Nebuchadnezzar is in astonishment, and he sang praises to Hashem. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak said, Yutzak zalav rutech l'toch piv shel osa rasha. He says we should pour boiling gold down the throat of this wicked person. Why? Shel mali ba malach v'satro al piv. If it wasn't for the fact that an angel came and stopped Nebuchadnezzar from continuing in this praise of Hashem, bikosh leganos koshiros v'shishbechos shamar David b'sefer Tehillim, then these beautiful words of praise of Hashem would have come, and they would have been greater than the praise that David said in Tehillim, and then that would have been a merit to Nebuchadnezzar. So we got to the angel was able to stop Nebuchadnezzar from singing these praises. Tana Rabbanan. Rabbis learned Shisha Nisim Nasib Osayom. There were 6 miracles that happened that day in Dura, since we're now going to talk about, according to this opinion that the people who were brought back to life were people Nebuchadnezzar killed. This Valley of Dura incident all happened in one day, 6 things. Ve'elohein Tzafa Kivshan, they had this fiery furnace. The furnace was in the ground. It floated up out of the ground, right? Because otherwise we're going to see that Nebuchadnezzar was able to see into the furnace, but if it was a pit in the ground, he couldn't see into it. So it floated up out of the ground. The nifrat kivshan, then the walls of the kivshan fell away. The humak sodo, the foundation, the bottom of it melted. The nepach tzilem al panov, and the nepach tselem al panov, and the gold idol that Nebuchadnezzar had set up and established for everybody to bow down to melted as a result of the fiery furnace that was there. And then Venisrfu arba malchios, and then there were 4 kings that threw Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah into the fiery furnace, and they burned up. And then and then Yechezkel brought the dead people back to life. So this amazing events all occurred right there. So now, the Kulahu Gemara. So all of them are tradition, right? This is the Chachamim learned that all these things happen on the same day. But the 4 kings that died, that's from a pasuk. Dichsiv, as the pasuk says, Nebuchadnezzar Malka Shalach Lemichnash. So Nebuchadnezzar sent to gather together the following: La'achashdar Panya. I'm going to say them all wrong. I'm going to read them. Achashdar Pinaya, Signaya, Upachavasa, Vihadavre Malka, Chazin Leguvray Ilech. So these were all that were brought in. Sorry, I've skipped some. Pachavasa, Edgazraya, Gadvaraya, Tavraya, Tiftaya. All of these were all Kol Shiltoni Medisa, all the leaders. Now, either these were names of kings or these were officers' titles. But there's a bunch of titles here, right? And then later on, Ksiv, Isi Guvern Yehudain, right? They said that they're going to bring from Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah out of the Kivshon Ha'esh, and they said that we're left Achash Darpinaya, Signaya, Upachavasa, Vihadavre Malka, Chazin Leguvreilch. They saw them in the fiery furnace. So there are some people that are missing, right? There are 4 people from this list that are gone, and the reason is because they burned up in the fire, so they didn't make it through. Tani de Rabbi Eliezer in the yeshiva Eliezer learned Yaakov afilu b'shas hasakana lo yishana adam es atzmo min harabonos shelo. Even if you're in danger, right, life and death situation, don't stop acting in a dignified manner. You always have to be dignified. Shneimar, as pasuk says, Badin gavraya elech kaftu besar belehon pat shehon v'kar balason. Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah were grabbed, and they were going to be thrown into the fiery furnace, and they got dressed in their clothes for the court, right? They dressed up for the execution because that was their position of authority, and they dressed up for that. Amar Rabbi Yochanan says, Gedolim tzadikim yoser min malach yesharis. Tzadikim are greater than angels. Shneimar, as pasuk says, Ana ve'amar ha'ani chazi guvrin arba'a sharyan mehachim begonura v'chevel lo aisi bahon. Nebuchadnezzar is astonished. He looks into the fiery furnace. He says, I see 4 forms of people in the fiery furnace. Ve'rave di ravia demei lebar Elohim. The 4th guy looks like an angel. So 3 guys, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, he threw 3 guys into the furnace, and now he looks in and there's 4 guys there. The 4th one is an angel. That was Gavriel, we will learn, and he's the one who went in to save Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah from the Kivshon Ha'esh. Amri Tanchum bar Chaniloi. Tanchum bar Chaniloi says, Bishar sheyotzu Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah Kivshon Ha'esh. When Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah got out of the fiery furnace, Ba'ol kol humos olam v'tavchu l'sonehem shel Yisrael al pneihem. The non-Jews came and slapped the Jews in the face. Amru lahem, they said to them, Yesh lechem Eloha kazeh, you've got such an amazing, great God. V'atem mishtachvim v'tzelem, why are you bowing down to idols? Right? Clearly, God is what just happened. So miyad paschu v'amru lecha Hashem atzdaka v'lanu boshes upon. Immediately the Jews said, you Hashem are righteous, and we are embarrassed. Kayom hazeh. right, on this day. Amar Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachmani, Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachmani says, Amar Rabbi Yonasan, what does it mean the pasuk says, Amarti e'le betamar ochza besansanav? What does it mean the pasuk says, I will raise up with a date palm and I will grasp on the branches. Amarti e'le betamar, I said, I will raise up with a date palm. Ela Yisrael, that's the Jewish people. V'achshav, and now lo Allah biyadi ela sansanecha. But now I only got one branch out of the whole date palm. Right? He says that is sansanecha shel Chananya, Mishael, v'Azariah. All the Jews who were tested in that valley of Dura, the only ones who passed the test was one branch, Chananya, Mishael, and Azariah. So we're going to see what happened in that valley of Dura. The Navi tells us that the Nebuchadnezzar told all the Jews, you got to bow down to this idol, right? If not, you're going to die. And Hanani, Mishael, and Azariah refused, which is how they got thrown into the fiery furnace. But everybody else bowed down to the idol, and so that's why they were being criticized. So Hashem says, everybody hears I wanted to be able to have this whole date palm, but in the end, I was able to grasp just one branch. Okay, that's a good place. We will stop here. Sadi Gimel.
We continue tomorrow night.
To be continued in